So this is just last year's assessment roll, and we need it for reference. So that's a 2A is not important.
Recording in progress.
Good job, Pat. I think Miss Addison's a problem person. I think she's gonna be it. I'm kidding. Yeah, I know, it's gonna be a pain here. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna call this Year 2 Road Improvements Project's final assessment hearing to order at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, September 24th. First on the agenda is Phil. Phil, if you wanna give your presentation and review the project costs and go over the assessment roll.
Sure.
No. It's not a normal council meeting.
My name's Phil Martin. I'm the city engineer. We were involved with these improvements for the city. I did prepare a handout, and if you didn't pick a handout from the table, you might want it. I'm just going to follow along in it. I'm going to cover on the second page basically these topics, and I'll go through it. And then when we're done, there'll be an opportunity for you to give your feedback to the city council. The mayor has some information that was provided prior to this meeting that we will read as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the background. The city is in the midst of a 5-year road improvement plan. It covers the years from 2024 up to 2028. And what the city is doing is determining that they're going to bond for funding through statute 475 to do an improvement every year for the next 5 years. We're in year 2. The city chose to do this, and their plan was we're going to prioritize pavement preservation. The simple way to think about this is you have a road out there that has really good pavement life, a little bit of cracking, stuff like that, and then there's roads out in the city that are beat up. The cost to extend the life of this nicer road is far less than the cost to invest in a road that's beat up. So what the city's dollars then, they go further. They extend the life of more miles rather than putting a lot of money into a shorter distance. When they put this road plan together, their target was to do $1 million worth of work a year. And that was going to be between doing a chip seal coat, which you've probably seen before. They put the oil, they put the chip down, then they oil it again, or the mill and overlay that happened on the roads that you're probably familiar with. The city did this planning in probably over a 3-year period. They started back in 2021, really struggled to get off the ground with the road improvement plan to I would say responsibly manage their road system. The one thing about a road, as soon as it's paved, every day beyond that, it starts to deteriorate. And in Minnesota, we get 100 degrees and we get -40. So the pavement sees a lot of changes. It shrinks, it cracks, and then we get rain and we get ice. And what that does is it makes the crack blow open, close, blow open. So in October of 2023, they adopted a 5-year plan. And again, we are in year 2 of that plan. Part of that plan is to partner with Crow Wing County. The reason we do this is for getting the best bang for the buck for the residents. Crow Wing County, to their credit, will give their constituents, which is townships and municipalities in Crow Wing County, an opportunity to take their plan for their project that's this big and lump it in with the project countywide that's this big. The benefit is we see reductions in the cost of construction. If we go on our own, we'll see about $85 to $100 per ton for bituminous pavement. If we go with the county, we'll see it closer to $50 or $60 a ton. So that we see that as just a solid partnership with Crow Wing County, and we appreciate that they allow us to do that. The first year of the plan was last year. We did Daggett Pine Road. And we did a majority of seal coating was down in West Shore and in a few other areas. Year two is this year. This year was heavy on the bituminous pavement improvement and lighter on the seal coating. The aggregate chip seal is one element of the road improvement plan. It's one element of one thing that was done this year. The city considered that to be a maintenance, so they don't assess for a maintenance approach like that. Again, that was the chip and the oil that's on the road. Bituminous overlay and reconstruction is what the city did this year, and that is the improvement that they are assessing to adjacent properties that benefit. So now I'm to the page that's labeled Year 2, 2025 Improvement, Scope, and Cost. So the project this year for bituminous improvement was 17 road segments, and it was across city zoning classifications that were residential, commercial, and publicly zoned. We had different bituminous improvements that we did. For the majority of the roads, we did a bituminous overlay, meaning we just added blacktop, 1.5 inches of blacktop to the existing blacktop. Over in the Pioneer Swan commercial area, because those had curb and gutter, because those were originally 3.5 inches thick, we did a milling, and then we put back bituminous pavement. We have to match up with the curb there, so we can't just keep adding blacktop, or we'll have a problem with people breaking their ankles, falling off into the curb. And then on Harbor Lane, we had a combination of a bituminous mill or a bituminous overlay, and then we actually rebuilt the north-south segment because that road had deteriorated to the point where we had areas that we think were tree stumps that were starting to sink in. Additionally, the city only had right-of-way to the paved area. We didn't have any right-of-way beyond that for ditching to manage stormwater, and there was a desire to add pedestrian safe trail along that corridor. As some of you may know, we add swing-type mailboxes when we do bituminous improvements, and that if you have an existing mailbox, the city's concerned if we plow or if the wing of the plow hits your mailbox, we'll just keep replacing it. So we put in, as part of projects, these swing-type posts. You're given the opportunity to waive that. You take on the responsibility of replacing your mailbox every time it gets damaged, but that's something we do with the project as well. The total project cost we estimate to be about $1.3 million for the bituminous improvements only. The city did do seal coating, and I think that was about $125,000 total, maybe $150,000 because we did some public parking lots too. So vast majority of it was the improvement of the pavement. The improvements are assessed. How we do that? The funding is from the Minnesota Statute 475. That's the process we follow for the bond. But the assessment is based on Minnesota Statute 429, and it prescribes a procedure in which the city can assess a portion of the cost based on what's understood to be the benefit to the property. The city's ordinance is number 358, and it says that the assessment to each parcel will be at a rate that does not exceed the market value benefit. The market value benefit is subject. It's very subjective, I'm going to say. From your perspective, that benefit might be a zero. From others' perspective, there is a dollar value they attach to it. So what the city does is the city considers the opinion of market benefit that they get from a third-party contractor. It's an appraisal company that has done this for the city in the past. And they consider what they've historically done, how they've handled the assessment, how they've handled lot size, how they've handled the period in which it can be paid back, and interest rate. The assessment payment can be done in one of two ways. After the city adopts the assessment, the proposed assessment, you can pay within 30 days, interest-free, or you can pay over a period of time through your property taxes at the period and the interest rate that the city council will determine. Many of you, all of you, probably should have got a notice of your parcel of what the proposed assessment was going to be. I put in there the same term as last year. I assumed one, put it in there for the purpose of creating an amortization schedule. The city council still needs to determine what period of time, and at what interest rate they would allow that. So this is an important part, this improvement assessment. I'm looking at the next page called appeal and deferment. The 429 process allows you, as the individual that the city is proposing an assessment to object or appeal if you so choose. And what that means is, it's very written out and it's right on here. I'll actually read this, but you need to make sure you follow this process if you intend to reserve your right to appeal the assessment. It doesn't mean you have to go forward. You can have a second thought leaving here after you do this, but if you don't do it, if you object verbally only, or you don't object, after this meeting, you won't have that ability to go to district court and essentially appeal to a court and fight the city on the amount that we've identified. So I'll read this quickly. No appeal to district court may be taken as to the amount of an assessment unless a written objection signed by the affected property owner is filed with the municipal clerk prior to the assessment hearing or presented to the presiding officer at the hearing. So at this hearing, if you haven't already sent it in, you would give it to the mayor. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You could write it on a napkin, literally on a napkin, and say, I object to my assessment, put your name, address, and contact information on it. That preserves your right to go further and appeal to district court. The appeal to district court will be at your cost if you go that far. The city will defend their position with their attorneys. Deferment. The council may, in its discretion, defer the payment of this special assessment for any homestead property owned by a person 65 years of age or older, one retired by virtue of a permanent and total disability, or a member of the National Guard or other reserves ordered to active military service for whom it would be a hardship to make the payments. So this one's a little more flexible. If you're of the age or any of this other qualifying criteria, you simply need to let the clerk know that you're going to be coming in to establish your intent to defer the assessment. Now, defer of assessment means if the assessment's $2,200 and you defer it, after 10 years, the assessment comes due and you pay it with all interest that's accrued over that 10-year period. So sometimes there's a lot of reasons to do it. You may have a property you're going to be exchanging and you can wrap it into that sale. You may have a kid that you're giving it to and you can load that on them. So I want to talk about market value benefit of opinion, because that establishes this, at least from the city's standpoint, the basis for what we're assessing. On June 24th, we hired Nagel Appraisal Incorporated to do a third-party assessment of Harbor Lane. They looked at it, they gave us an appraisal, opinion of market benefit, and it's shown in this table. And you can see for the various classifications, they give a low range and a high range. And so I'm going to key on the residential home, lake, non-lake. They said that the benefit for a mill and overlay improvement would be between $2,500 to $4,000 for a home on a lake and $2,000 to $3,500 per buildable lot for a home not on a lake. So we saw, I loosely say a range of $2,000 to $4,000. For the reconstruction improvement segment, there's parcels along that. A residential home, no lake, that's not on a lake, $6,000 to $10,000 per buildable lot. In January of 2025, the city hired this same firm and they went out and they looked at the remaining mill and overlay or overlay segments. And in this table that we show, they actually have broken out that they looked and did a report for the Swan and Pioneer area. That was a commercial area. They did a report for the Robert Street, Sunset, and Sunrise Island area. They did a separate report for the Pine Bay area. And then they did a report for the Egret, Miller, Old Log Landing area. And And I only use Old Log Landing because it takes up too much room to list all the roads that are included in there. But you see some trends in here. On the low end, I'm going to say it's about $2,000, $2,500 for a residential lot. And on the high end, $3,500 to $4,500 is the high opinion of benefit. So to the final page, market value benefit assessment. This is how the city applied it. They looked at the benefit range that they got from the third-party contractor, and they looked at their assessment history. And what the city has routinely done is try to stay on the low end of the opinion of benefit. So if you look to the table on the right side of the page, this should match up with what was sent to you in the notice you were given to your parcel. For the mill and overlay improvement, residential lot less than 5 acres, the city is proposing an assessment of $2,200. For a residential lot that has a common wall construction on the property line, they're proposing a $1,100 assessment. For a residential lot greater than 5 acres, they're proposing a $3,850 assessment. For a residential condo, $550. For commercial that is 1 acre or less, $2,200. That matches in with a residential lot less than 5 acres. We're trying to be consistent. For a commercial lot that's bigger than 1 acre, so as an example, if you're at between 2 and 3 acres, they're going to charge 3 times the base amount of $2,200. So that's how you get $6,600. For resort and lodging on a mill and overlay improvement, $6,600. And for residential and the reconstruction improvement, $6,000. In 2024, just as an example for mill and overlay, we charged the residential, the small residential, $2,000. The larger residential, we charged $3,500, and the condos, $500. So we've arrived at a 10% increase from last year. The final thing I'll say related to benefit is we at the city look at the benefit can occur in 2 ways. If your parcel is directly adjacent to the road that was improved, that's a primary benefit. If you have a lot that's back off of the road, meaning you go down the road, but then you take a private road back or a driveway that serves a number of parcels, we apply a secondary benefit to that, and we assess 50% of the direct benefit cost. So off of Harbor Lane, we have a few parcels. They're not directly on Harbor Lane. They're on a private drive that goes back. They got assessed half of $2,200, so they got an assessment of $1,100. So total assessed, the city with this proposed assessment is $711,395. That's 53% of the estimated project cost. We are in total proposing to assess 319 parcels. And as an example, in your worksheet that you were provided for your parcel, most parcels got an assessment of $2,200. If you assume that at a 10-year payback period at 4.75% interest, you would see on your property taxes beginning in 2026 a payment of $281.46 for a 10-year period. That's the extent of my presentation. The mayor has some communication the city received from property owners that maybe couldn't be here or wanted to get their comments into the record. After he is done, it's your opportunity to give your input to the council. That's the purpose of this public hearing, to provide your comments, your questions, to get further information. We request that you state your name and address for the record before giving your input. So thank you for attending.
Before I go through the information that was presented from the city, Phil, I just want to first off thank you and the Public Works Commission for your tireless effort on trying to get this assessment roll and bringing it to the council. The city does understand that it's hard to assess patrons and citizens do not want to pay assessments. But if we were to put the whole project on a bond or levy for the whole project, the city would absolutely be broke and taxes would be through the roof. So this is the way of the city looking at trying to lessen the tax levy as well as a bond. We also, because people don't want to pay assessments, and rightfully so, who wants to? We went with the low end of assessments as well, and it's not charging the high end, so we didn't look greedy. So we are trying to work with the community. Moving forward, I did get some letters here that we have to legally read before we go into public comment. The first one is dated September 18th, 2025, addressed to Administrator Conway. Dear Miss Conway, my name is Jerry Moingen, the treasurer of the Timberlane Homeowners Association. Owners of several parcels related to the Harbor Lane Road project. I own one of the other secondary assessed properties as well. I am writing this letter as instructed by Phil Martin of Bolton and Mink Incorporated to describe the association's position related to the following parcels. He and I exchanged emails and had a phone conversation to ensure the association is following the appropriate protocol regarding our position. We expect to have representation from the association at the September 24th City of Cross Lake Council meeting if it is not resolved prior to this meeting. The black text below are Phil's assessments. The red line comments are by Jerry. Parcel number 141-80536, common area, is directly adjacent to Harbor Lane. Proposed direct assessment for what SF is what, Phil? Square footage? SF? Yeah, SF. Okay, square footage residential lot, single family residential lot at 2200. This is a common area. It is an outlot according to the Cross Lake City Planner and is unbuildable. Based on a prior phone conversation with the city planner in August and subject to city verification. This lot is utilized for trailer storage, parking, trash collection, and contains a shed and a fish house, the same use since 1970. The association accepts whatever treatment is appropriate and wishes that it be treated the same way as other similar parcels. Since there is a gravel driveway to the lot, we understand how 2200 could be the number. Since the lot is an outlot, might 1100 or 0 be more appropriate? The association accepts whatever the city deems appropriate. Lot number 141-80542, our thought was that this was a secondary benefit lot. Considering the size and shape, I think a case could be made that it doesn't receive the benefit and should not be assessed. We agree the assessment on this parcel should be 0 as opposed to 1100. Lot 141-80553, common area at lake and not buildable, no assessment, agreed. We look forward to this City of Cross Lakes assessment. Feel free to call me at 651-470-8873 if there's any further questions. Sincerely, Jerry Moingen. The rest of the enclosed information is just city emails between our Public Works Commission chair as well as city staff, which includes maps and pictures of the lots. On the last is just the city's answers that was already stated in the first letter. So there's one. The second one is from the Lake Foundation, September 23rd, 2025, addressed to the City of Cross Lake. Read the year 2 2025 road improvements. City of Cross Lake City Council. The Lakes Area Kids Enrichment Lake Foundation received the notice of hearing on proposed assessment relating to year 2 2025 road improvements. The Lake Foundation owns property at 35808 County Road 66, or parcel number 142-10772 at the corner of 66 and Swan Drive. Our property is the home of the Cross Lake Community School. The road improvements include Swan Drive, which runs along the south side of our property. The Lake Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and was established to build a new facility for the Cross Lake Community School, which opened in 2018. The Cross Lake Community School is celebrating its 25-year anniversary and is a cornerstone of the Cross Lake community. Currently, the school has 130 seat-based students and 404 online students. The purpose of our letter is to request the City Council to consider exempting the Lake Foundation from the proposed road assessment in the amount of $11,000. We greatly appreciate the city's proactive approach in maintaining its infrastructure and acknowledge the time and effort the city puts into projects like this. However, the proposed assessment is significant and would impact our foundation's ability to reinvest in the school and other community programs. Along with the nonprofit status of our organization, we also wanted to highlight that the wooded area, roughly 4 acres, 3.9, on the east side of our property is designated as a school forest. This designation was granted by the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources and is reflected on their website. In addition to supporting the ongoing needs of Cross Lake Community School, the Lake Foundation has also been active in the community. We established a scholarship program for high school seniors, have taken a lead role in the Cross Lake Trails Initiative, and are seeking other opportunities to give back to youth programs in Cross Lake and the surrounding area. We appreciate our continued partnership with the city, along with various organizations such as the PAL Foundation and local businesses. The Lake Foundation appreciates the City Council's consideration to exempt our property from the proposed assessment year 2 for 2025 road improvements. Sincerely, Richard Eide, President of the Lake Foundation. We did look into the 3.9 or 4 acres of what was deemed to be the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources forest, and that is not accurate with the city records that we have. The whole parcel is one parcel and not individual parcels. So we are classifying that as one whole parcel. Jerry and Jennifer Henneke, 11832 Harbor Lane, addressed to the City of Cross Lake. Objection to assessment of parcels 14180-575 and 14180-5877. Dear City Clerk, I am writing to formally object to the assessment of 2 adjoining properties under my ownership, parcel 14180-575 and parcel 14180-5877. Both parcels have been assessed separately at $2,200 each, totaling $4,400. I respectfully request that these parcels be treated as a single property for the purposes of this assessment. The 2 parcels are directly adjoining and together form a continuous 95-foot wide property. It is also considered one address with one fire number, 11832. This combined frontage is comparable in size and used to other nearby single lot properties, many of which have been assessed as one parcel and charged a single assessment fee. Therefore, it appears inconsistent and inadequate that my 2 parcels are being assessed separately. Given their combined usage, dimensions, and alignment with neighboring properties that are treated as for one assessment purposes, I believe it is reasonable and appropriate to consolidate the assessment into a single charge. I respectfully request a reassessment or adjustment to reflect this. Please confirm the receipt of this letter and advise on the next steps in the appeal or review process. I would happy to provide additional documentation, meet in person, or attend any necessary hearings to support this request. Thank you for your time and consideration. The rest of this letter is just communications between city staff as well as our city engineer. To back up that letter, when she is mentioning single lots, last year when we first did our first road assessment, or started year 1 of our road assessment, we also individually assessed lots, even if they were owned by the same owner, just as an FYI. I don't think we have any more. So
Can I just ask one question on this last one?
Can you step up to the microphone,
Oh, you want me to do that right now?
please?
Excuse
Just
me,
because it's a,
Mayor, I believe that we need to take action on these 3.
I thought we do it all at the end. Okay. Do we want to reevaluate, what? Yeah, I'd like to do that. Go ahead, Patty.
So my question is that last letter that
Name.
Oh, sorry. Patty Norgard, 37104 Bunkhouse Road, Cross Lake. So my first question is That last person who has the two lots, even
Yes.
though they're side by side,
Yes.
do they have the same, have they combined it so there's one legal on it?
They have not, they're two
Yeah.
individual
So there's
parcels.
two legal descriptions?
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
okay. Well, as long as I'm up here now, I might as well
Okay,
ask
we're
my
gonna,
questions.
since you're here, we're just gonna start off with, if anyone is on Bunkhouse Road, feel free to step up to the microphone.
Okay?
Take it away, Patty.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate the city on a 5-year road plan. It's been a
Right.
long time coming, and the first time I learned about it was when Tim Bray was making his 5-year road plan at the county, and he finished it with promises made, promises kept. And I have heard that now from our staff on the road project. So, that being said, my first question is how long does the mill and overlay last? What is the estimated time?
Phil?
The mill and overlay will last without doing any work, I think probably 20 years.
20 years. And so is that what was done on Bunkhouse Road?
What's that?
Is that what was done on?
Yeah, we did an overlay, so we added.
an overlay.
There was 2 inches there, we added another 1.5 inches.
Okay, and so-
So then, we'll also do seal coats.
Okay.
Probably every 7 years, so I think that road will last 30
Okay.
to 35 more years.
Okay, because I was thinking, holy cow, 1.5 inches doesn't seem very much, and it was done very, very quickly, which we all appreciated. And so,
So Bunkhouse was constructed in 2000, and it got 2 inches of blacktop and 2 inches of Class 5.
okay.
So there probably was gravel before that, so we've
Yeah,
almost doubled
that
it.
would be before my time, so anyway. And so the other question that has come up in various conversations within our association, because I am a member of Old Log Landing, and on the current board, I wasn't on the board a couple of years ago when you were working on all this. But one of the questions that has been asked was, they seem to remember that when you were discussing the new road project on 66, that promises were made that if the detour could go through Old Log Landing, there would be no assessment made for us because, number one, of the damage that it has done or did to the roads. And just as a side note on there, even though the construction has been completed on 66, we still have an aftermath of people who found that, oh, it's just nice and easy to go through Bunkhouse Road, either instead of going down that way to get on Pine, where the community center is, or to get to 66, Daggett Pine Road.
Yeah.
And so, so that was a question that has come up at various times in conversations with the homeowners of Old Log Landing. And then my last question is, and I was at these council meetings when all of the conversations were taking place around the reconstruction of 66, primarily because we needed to connect up the 16 corner for sewer. And so I believe that was done ahead of the county's schedule. But we opted to do that, which I certainly agreed with. But so when you were putting together this project and looking to put together a bid, was there ever any consideration put into that bid for the reconstruction or fixing, let's just make it real simple, of the deterioration that happened in Old Log Landing during that process?
So my understanding of that project before even Sandy and I got on city council and after discussing with Administrator Conway and having the clerk do some research and going back in minutes and checking votes, as well as talking with our city engineer, we can't find anything on our end that was stated in minutes where we would waive fees or waive assessments for Old Log Landing. We don't have any city record of that in minutes or anything like that.
And those might have been casual conversations outside.
Those could have been casual conversations as well.
We won't know that. We won't know that.
Sadly, that's something we
Right.
can't go off of, as there was no
Yeah,
vote taken
no, absolutely.
or
I-
historical
yeah.
minutes.
And I did not want to go back through all the minutes and check that out, so, So anyway, based on, the comments that I've heard in our association and my personal feeling is that some consideration should be given to Old Log Landing for the use of our roads during the reconstruction of County Road 66.
Patty, I hear you, I get it.
Yeah.
Phil and I have had multiple conversations going back and forth on this issue, because I understand your plight. But Phil, go ahead and if you
Well,
could say what you guys came up with
so
as an engineering firm.
We knew this question was raised, and so we went back and looked at when the original improvements were done to the Old Log Landing area. And a lot of it occurred.
In 2020, back in.
1990, 20,
Yeah, well,
2000, 2001, 2002 is when all those improvements happened.
Right,
And so the city did their first pavement preservation review back in 2018. And those streets rated out as 7s and 6s. So they were just on that edge of seal coat, bituminous mill and overlay. The city had us re-rate them in 2023, 5 years later, and each of the ratings slipped one digit. So the Moonlight Bay work happened in the summer of 2022.
Yeah,
So I do know that the city fixed the corner.
they did.
They put extra dollars into that corner. But I don't think, from my view of the ratings that were done, that your roads show that appreciable deterioration over a 5-year period.
Okay.
It seems typical. So that's the anecdotal information.
Well, thank you, Phil.
Right.
Patty, I think that answers your question, as much as you might not want to hear it. I know.
Yes, yes. I
Right.
mean, it certainly follows protocol for you guys, so, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody on Egret Road that would like to contest their assessment? Anybody on Miller Road that would like to contest their assessment? No, yeah, and I asked everybody to come up, so. Anyone on Tall Timbers Trail that wants to contest their assessment?
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Stacy Winarka, 4217 Valley Drive, Rochester, Minnesota, 55901. We own the property, my sisters and I, that is directly across from the community center on Daggett
Okay.
Pine. So we paid $2,000 last year,
Okay.
and I was shocked to get another assessment of $38.50 for our property.
For this year's project?
Yes. We own 11 acres, but it's shaped like a rectangle.
Okay.
So why did we pay $2,000 last year and $38.50 this year?
Oh, Phil,
So the
that's a
parcel-
hard one. That's
Because
that's a hard one.
I'm gonna cry foul because you're saying you want to be consistent. Obviously, you're not being consistent.
I think that your property borders both Daggett Pine Road
Yes,
and the Tall Timbers.
yes,
And it's 11 acres?
yes. But we paid $2,000 last year and it's shaped like a rectangle.
Right. And
So why are we paying $38.50 for the same piece of property? We don't even have a driveway that goes out that way.
last year, they assessed properties at 2,000,
Yes?
but their threshold was higher. Because
Well, then are you going to go
Daggett-
back to those people and be consistent then? For the people on Daggett Pine? I was at the meeting last year.
But they don't front two roads. So you have the easy ability to access that property from both roads. So you front both roads. The other ones don't front both roads. On Daggett Pine, they front Daggett Pine.
Right. I mean, The other thing, though, is I'm part of association, and part of our bylaws is that we cannot split that property without the association agreeing to all that, and I have that in writing.
So I have a quick question. Is the parcel split somewhere down the middle? Are they two individual
No,
parcels
it's
or are they
one
one?
parcel that touches both.
Oh,
So,
It's
to me,
the only one that touches.
right, but then why are we getting penalized for
I
that?
hear you.
I mean,
I'll admit, I have a hard time with that one. I
because
do.
it's the same size, and it's like a rectangle. So to me, I mean, if you want to charge us $2,200, fine, but not $3,850.
I have a hard time with that one as well. Is there any, was this talked about at Public Works by chance?
So Phil, I have a question. When a property had access either to one road or the other, didn't we as a committee determine one road versus the other?
That's what I was at the meeting before.
Yep. I'm asking Phil. He's our
Yeah.
I don't,
expert on the committee. Do you remember?
this year, I don't think I don't recall that conversation.
Did you have this issue last year?
No.
Okay.
That's, we didn't run into.
Can I ask you if it's a rectangle, is the long, because the rectangle has, one long side and one shorter side? So is the longer side the one that's being assessed this time?
No. It's
we don't
shaped
do it
like
on
a
the-
rectangle, and
Yeah.
it's the same from the front on Daggett as tall timber.
Stacy, I hear your plight. I get that. I wouldn't be able to go along with it either at that full amount. So that one, I do believe, if council has consensus, could be reassessed to 22.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair as well. I mean, she got it last year, and now we're sticking it to her again this year. And if she's offering 2,200, we'll take what we can get.
I agree.
That's where I'm at. Robin, where are you?
I am as well.
Bob?
2,200.
I'm a go. Jamie? Sandy? Yep. All right. So I'm going to make a motion that we reassess, Stacy, what's your last name?
WANNARKA. My two sisters own it with me, so
We're
there's
going
three of
to
us.
make a motion to reassess Stacy Warnica,
Winarka.
for a total amount of $2,200. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a second.
Is that parcel,
Open for discussion.
Pardon me?
is it Schwabel?
Schwalbe is my sister's name.
Schwalbe, that's the name it's under, Schwalbe.
There's Schwalbe, Winarka, Farlinger, Winarka, so that's,
Phil, for
Make sure I have that.
legalities, what do you want it to be? Schwabel?
Well, it's in the assessment roll, it's Schwalbe.
it's
Okay.
my
I'm gonna-
address.
Parcel ID is 14090576. It's Rochester, Minnesota address.
Can you
That-
rifle off that parcel number one more time? 0576?
Yep.
I'm going to make an amendment to my motion that we reassess parcel number 0576 to a $2,200 assessment. Sandy, do you
Second.
accept that?
Second.
Okay, there's a second, open for discussion. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of reassessing 0576 to 2,200 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes got it. Thanks,
Thank you.
Stacy. Is there anybody else on Tall Timbers Trail? Aaron, it's nice to see your face.
Oh, I don't know.
I know, we miss you up here. I'll dodge the darts.
I'm not so sure it is so good. Aaron Herzog, 14083 Tall Timbers Trail, Cross Lake. I disagree with Phil's assessment very strongly, okay? That's one. Two, when they were doing the construction, it was extremely sloppy and very poorly done. And I questioned the supervision of it. That's number one. I asked the guy that was supervising it if they could come back in and connect to my driveway where Anderson Construction, when they built the street, had come into. He walked up and he said, "Boy, Aaron, that's a long ways back." I didn't argue with him because Anderson Construction, when they built the street, had put in deeper driveways than normal. So when I connected to it, when I put mine in, it was farther in, a lot farther in. And he said no, and I said, okay. I went back in the house, and I come out a little bit later, and I look, and here's the guy, the packer, is sitting there with his packer on top of the seam, on top of where the seam is. And he split the seam open. I asked about that, and I basically got told to pound sand. Okay? So I'm frustrated with the quality of work that was done. The grinding was basically wires putting scratches in the street, and I don't consider that a mill and overlay.
Aaron,
Okay.
did I hear you? Did you happen to contact the city at all when they split that seam and let the
Well-
city know?
The city was supervising it, so the city's tied in.
Yes, I understand that to a
Yeah.
point, but I mean, I don't think, Pat, you're not out there checking driveways, and Phil, you're not out there checking driveways.
His employee was. Okay?
Okay,
And I'm going to contest.
as you're right. So there's one. Thank you, Aaron. Anybody else on Tall Timbers Trail?
Hi, I'm Nancy Arnson. I actually have two parcels, one on Lumberjack Lane and one on Tall Timbers Trail. So I'm not sure which one this is.
Can you just rattle off one of your addresses, please, or
Sure.
where you get your mail?
It actually doesn't have an address. My home address
Thank
is
you.
701 128th Avenue Northeast in Blaine.
Thank you.
One parcel number is 140-90639. I noted on the first chart that showed that there was a difference for whether it was lake, not lake, building, no building. So both of my parcels are empty lots. So I guess I would like to petition that we be charged $2,000 instead of $2,200 because they are empty lots, and that would be consistent with that other chart that we were shown.
Phil, is there any,
We made it very simple. We didn't say lake or not lake. We didn't say if there's a building on it or not.
Okay.
Because today there's maybe not a building. If it's a lot that can have a building, it can happen. The assessment is, as we've discussed, the life of the road will be, 25, 30 years.
right?
So it doesn't matter that there's no building and no plans for any buildings?
No, not really, because the best use of the property is to put a building on it.
Okay.
Ownership of the property is not guaranteed always. We all know that our time is limited, and property can change hands. So I sound cold, but that's unfortunately how we're supposed to
We'll have
treat
look at it. Okay.
everyone is matter of
Okay.
factly.
The last thing I do want to say is because I am part of that homeowners association, and it's unfortunate that more people didn't come because there's been a lot of people that have been very upset. And so I just want to voice that it is a little unfair that we have been charged for the fixing of the roads because that detour did tremendous damage to the neighborhood and all of the streets there. And, the streets probably wouldn't have needed to have quite so much work done had that detour not gone through there. And I realize you had no choice but to go through there. But it's the homeowners that are paying for it. And I guess your past people probably should have looked at that when they were planning on that work and also known that they were going to have to put in some money to fix Old Log Landing based on the fact that that's where they ran the detour through.
Note well taken for moving forward in the future with other road projects.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Thank you. We'll have to make sure it's in the minutes. Anybody else on Tall Timbers? Or, that was what?
Lumberjack.
Oh,
She had two, I think.
Sorry. Okay. Anyone on Blackdoll at all? Anybody on Blacksmith? Anybody on Lumberjack? Anybody else? Carol.
I'm on Lumberjack.
I know.
Carol Otteson, 37116 Lumberjack Lane. And I have three letters here from, one from Brad and Sherry Wallace, and they're on 37094 Lumberjack Lane. And Joe and Jenna Brunel, and they are 37126 Lumberjack Lane. And pretty much the same issue with the detour going right by our house all summer long, seeing those big trucks and semis and breaking the road down. We feel that the city should probably share a little bit of the pain.
I hear ya. Thank you, Carol. Anybody else on log landing? Or sorry, lumberjack. Lumberjack, sorry. Corey?
Jackson.
How are ya?
Good. I didn't really plan on saying anything.
Hey, it's all right.
Corey Palmer, 37184 Lumberjack Lane. Just hearing about a few things and kind of hearing your facts. I can't remember, or
Phil.
you mentioned that I would assume 10 points is the highest as far as the rating system goes?
Yeah.
And you said it went down 3 points in 20 years or 18 years?
Well, I assume when it was built in 2000, it was a
Right.
10. Yeah.
And then it went down another point in 2 years
5 years.
after that. So I mean, that statistically, that's a significant jump compared to the years prior. I mean, if we're just going
Well,
off,
but
off of numbers.
Deterioration's not linear. The
Well,
road stays up here and it gets to a point, and I can show you the pavement information that supports it. It's a curve. It gets to a certain point and it drops hard. And that dropping hard is in that
It just
7,
seems
6,
like
5.
there's a lot of speculation there, I guess. We live on the corner there, which was the main point where that detour went through. And it was egregious. I mean, it was intense, the amount of heavy vehicles that went through there. So to say that there was, that we shouldn't be compensated through there, not that I'm against it, I think it needs to be done. But I think everyone that has spoken has a very valid point that it was aggressive and that road deteriorated greatly from that project. So that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Corey.
Yep.
Was this talked about in Public Works? Robin, can you give a little synopsis on what you guys came up with?
It was a difficult conversation. Aaron, thank you for coming in and talking to our group. We expected this team to show up tonight because we did have a lot of discussion about this, this area. Just as Phil noted, he gave us the demographic, or the statistics of the deterioration of the roads, and it was of the committees. I'm just a liaison, so I'm not a voting member, but it was of the position of the committee that that it was regular maintenance. It was regular maintenance repair.
Deemed as regular maintenance?
It was deemed time to repair, not necessarily focused on the detour. But again, we're hearing you, so thank you. And I'm not the engineer, just the messenger here. It was a great discussion. It was a hard discussion.
Is there anybody else on log landing that would like to speak? Anybody on headquarters? Anybody on Kimball? Anybody on Swan? Come on up, Mike.
Mike Stone, 35878 County Road 3. We got the golf course on Swan. Not necessarily here to contest the assessment, but just kind of ask a few questions. So, like on Swan Drive, it's probably one of the major, Swan and Pioneer, probably one of the major arteries as city roads go, other than, like county road, the county roads.
Yep.
Is there a correlation with the amount of traffic, with the breakdown of the road, or basically all roads, regardless of the amount of traffic, they're gonna 20, 25 years?
Certainly. Amount of traffic, heavy traffic, stuff like that will impact it. A lot of the roads that we added an inch and a half to were built back in 2000. Some other ones were even before that, and I don't know the quality of the underlying work that was done. Swan and Pioneer were actually constructed to a kind of a beefier standard. So I would say they got more traffic, heavier traffic, but they were built for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's my only thing is, if we're gonna be, I have no problem being assessed, but if it's kind of under a program that's kind of designed more for residential neighborhoods in the city, but if you did a traffic study of Swan and Pioneer, how many of that, I think a small percentage would be people that, there's just a high percentage that like use Swan as a go-between for, between 3 and 66.
Should probably be a county road.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should
Or a
be.
county state aid. where
It
they
should
chip
be.
in.
I just feel like that whole area is different than all the other residential roads that the
And
city.
Mike, you
maintains.
do have a point, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Sylvester and Phil. I believe your initial assessment, when it first came and hit Public Works, it was way significantly larger than what it is today, that we brought it down. Am I correct in that statement?
I believe it was 2,200 initially, and then after the last meeting, 1,100
Yeah.
per.
We brought it down.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, I haven't even seen that. I just heard, and I'm on the Lake
Right.
Foundation as well. And just so you know, like, there was, that school forest is not we never claimed it was a separate parcel. It's a designation that we intend to, keep.
No, but he's on Swan.
Anyway, I just had questions,
The golf
so.
course, so.
No,
Well, no, I stand corrected then.
What?
His may not have changed.
Oh, it didn't
His
change?
may not have changed.
Okay, his didn't
If
change?
he's not in the townhouse.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I stand corrected. I
Okay.
wasn't familiar with your address. The
Gotcha.
townhouse
We're
has
across the
changed.
street from.
Gotcha.
the
R2,
townhomes. And,
22.
we have no
Yes. He has the
approach
whole
or
golf, you're
anything,
right.
but we're adjacent, so I get it, so.
So my correction is, it is 2,200. The townhouses were
Okay.
reduced to
Thank you,
1,100.
Robin.
I don't have his personal
I
number.
say,
We'd have-
we-
do you
there
wanna
we
pull
are.
yours up?
What are we?
If it's greater than 5 acres residential.
Then the 38.
Are we at 38 then?
So, and that's fine. I just want to make sure that if it's being used as a major artery for the city
Oh,
and
that's last
the people
year's.
that are actually on it, whether it's residential or business,
Right.
are a minority user of that, just going forward, I think
This
the
is
greater
our,
city needs to participate a little more in that
I hear
unique
ya.
circumstance.
So would this be under John and Dolores Stone?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was about 27 acres. And we said that it was, we took the large lot greater than 5 acres and we did the 3850, which is 10% more than last year.
was it?
And, so we don't use the road, but we're fine with, the assessment, so that's fine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Tough
you for
job.
the education. Sorry about that. Thank you, Bob. Phil?
Everybody? Anybody else on Swan? Come on up.
Excuse me, Carol Otteson, just in adding a comment.
Go ahead.
Just going off what this gentleman said about major arteries.
Yeah.
And that's what we were used for the detour, a major artery.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I understand. Anybody on Pioneer? Anybody on Pine Bay Road? Anybody on Robert Street? Anybody on Sunrise Drive? Anybody on Sunrise Island Road? Anybody on Harbor Lane? Come on up. If you're on Harbor Lane, come on down. One at a time. Don't rush. Goat head. Who's the goat head?
Hi, I'm John Lindell. We have a parcel, 11925 Harbor Lane, that we've owned for decades. When this project we were notified of it, we were told that we needed to give an easement, that there needed to be an easement agreement for the project to be done. And we were opposed to it. We use it for recreation.
Is this for the trail, sir? The easement for the trail? Phil?
Well, it's for all of it.
He gave us an easement there in front of his property. We put the trail there.
Okay, so it's the easement for the trail.
But I mean, it was only a 30-foot roadway easement that the city had in this area, so.
Thank you.
Well,
Go ahead.
And so, but we agreed to give the easement. And part and parcel to agreeing to give the easement was that we wouldn't be assessed for the project costs. And so we were quite surprised to receive an assessment for $38.50 when it seemed to be the central compensation that we received for giving the easement was that we wouldn't be
Sir,
given
do you
that
have this in
assessment.
writing by chance?
Yeah,
He does.
it's in
I
the
think
easement
there's-
agreement.
Okay, is
There's
there,
some confusion here, John, because your total assessed is 0.
okay.
Did you get a worksheet where,
Yeah, I got a 3850 assessment. It's adjusted to 0.
Hey, it's your lucky day.
Okay.
Good job, John.
John,
Never
you should
mind.
go have a beer and buy a lottery ticket. Is there anybody, come on down, David. Have a beer for me.
So, David Foos, 11820 Harbor Lane. And first of all, I want to compliment the Harbor Lane improvement. I thought
Hey, that's a first.
the road was done very well, very timely. The walking path is fantastic. I would urge you all to come over, drive on the road, walk on the path. Thank you. And as many people probably know, that path was paid for out of the Paul Bunyan Foundation money, Mike O'Connell, et cetera.
Yes, the Lakes Foundation,
We're not
which we're
paying for
very,
that.
very thankful for.
So thank you. The question that I'm going to ask it in reference to my neighbor, Jerry and Jennifer Henneke, but I'm asking it in a general way.
Yeah.
For illustrative purposes.
Perfect.
They're my neighbors. It's one property, one fire lane. It was sold as one property. Now granted, there's 2 parcels. I guess if precedent is that separate parcels designated by the county are each charged, then if that's what precedent is, then it's consistent, is
You
what I
are
would say.
correct, David. You are correct.
So it doesn't matter if there's just one driveway? and
Nope.
it doesn't-
If
okay.
they're designated individual parcels from Crow Wing County on which we have on our books, they are assessed individually.
So a person might choose to,
If they want to go down to the county and consolidate a lot and remove a lot line and make it one lot, they can. Is the time too late? Probably, once we approve the assessment
once you
roll.
assess it, it's assessed.
Right.
So, yeah, okay. Well, the reason I ask it is
Yeah.
just because I think it's illustrative for
I
future
hear.
adjacent properties. So thank you.
Thank you,
So-
David.
So the flip side, and this is the question we raised with planning and zoning, is it's 2 parcel IDs. And the reading of the zoning is that those are 2 non-conforming lots. They could be separately owned. They could be separately used.
Do you know who this guy is?
Yeah,
He's on planning and zoning,
Okay,
so
I'm
here
just
you
telling
go.
That's exactly what the P and Z does.
Yeah, thank you, Jackson.
You're welcome.
Okay, we review and approve variances.
Right,
We don't make decisions. We rely on staff for that.
right,
So-
but what I'm saying is that's what the staff has said, is it, we heard what the claim was, and we tried to run it through planning and zoning, and that's what I understood in their reading, is that we have a lot of non-conforming lots in the city, and somebody could come and ask for a variance, and if it's granted, it could be, the one fire number and the one driveway wouldn't matter.
Well, so it's a 55-foot and a 45-foot lot. Their residence is on one. They have a secondary living quarters on the other. This used to be a resort,
Yeah.
and there's a little cabin there. Anything that came before planning and zoning would have gone to staff. It didn't come to the committee. I wasn't there. I didn't decide. I may have had to abstain as they were my neighbors.
Yeah, but it just came in yesterday, or,
Oh,
they're.
it did. So
Yeah.
Cheryl and Jody
Looked at
talked
it
about it
this
and
morning.
said, and pardon me?
This morning,
This morning. Interesting.
that quick.
Well, I mean, I think the important thing is if the track record is 2 parcels, 2 legal parcels, 2 assessments, then that answers the question. Yeah, could they have combined it or should they have? That's water under the dam. So, thank you.
Anybody else on Harbor Lane? What?
Or offshoots, yeah.
Hi, my name is Chuck Carmichael. My mailing address is 16135 Narcissus Street Northwest in Andover, Minnesota. And I'm here just representing the Timber Lane Property Owners Association as the president. And Jerry provided that first letter, which outlines our position, so I'm just here in case there's any questions or further discussion regarding that letter. Yes. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Harbor Lane? I'll get there.
I'm Kathy Limmerman. I live at 36628 Harbor Trail,
Thank you.
Cross Lake, Minnesota. And the trail is important because I am probably the farthest west of anybody here tonight who's still in Cross Lake. I think Phil would agree with that. The interesting thing is that, yes, I'm affected by the Harbor Lane development. I didn't get anything last year because I don't think people realized I was affected. This year I was affected a lot for 2 months as the road, was basically, how would you describe it? It was dug up for Xcel Energy, for Tremolo, for TDS, for the city. I mean, I probably lost track of, and all of them affected me because my mailbox was the last one on the lane. And the very first week, basically, and by the way, I have a conforming mailbox. I paid my $125 2 years ago, Charlotte knows, after the snowplow took it down twice. So I probably should get $125 at least removed from the assessment, but that's another whole story. Again, to be honest with you, it was a nightmare. 1 minute the road would be open, the next minute it would be closed. I gather some sewer work was done. I found that out 1 week because, well, suppose it was storm sewer.
Storm sewer.
Right,
Yes.
storm sewer. And I guess I would say to that, the only reason storm sewer work was done, wasn't it?
What's that?
Storm sewer, yes.
Storm sewer work was done.
Yeah, they put
on the
storm-
north side, and I guess we're all being charged for that. That never would have needed to be done if planning and zoning had not allowed, they had basically put restrictions on the places that were built recently on either the west side or the south side.
Hey, Phil, does the city absorb the cost if we do any storm sewer, or is that assessed?
I think it's assessed.
We assess for the mill and overlay improvement.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, or let's put it this way. If it was or wasn't assessed, I don't think anybody knew. Because I talked to just about everybody who worked, and I would ask them, now, do you know when and they'd always have the same answer. We don't know anything about that. We only are doing this, and you'll have to talk to somebody else. And I mean, again, it was over 2 months, where
I know.
1 minute you'd be open, 1 minute you wouldn't, and, But in my case, okay, let's look at, I have a $1,100 assessment. My family has been here since 1939. And by the way, if you need to know any background on any of the other lots that they talked about, you ask us because we know. And I bought my property, which is again in Cross Lake, in 1985. And that's my retirement home, and this is my legal homestead residence. I think that the thing that the city needs to remember is this area is an old area. My parents built prior to World War II, and we've got all the history to prove it. Almost all the other areas were built after World War II. They were small resorts like Iverly, Timber Lane, Bon Repose, now Bayview. And again, the resort sort of determined a lot of things until 1960. About 1960, it started to swing the pendulum, where you can make more money selling the cabins than actually renting them. And since that time, just about everything's been done sort of, well, with a wink and a nod, and we'll see what happens. A lot of the resorts, they were sold under the provision that you would not make any changes, you would not move cabins, you would not. Almost all of that's been violated over time. So what's really legitimate, what's grandfathered, I don't know what really is. I would argue that every single residence should, probably be paying some kind of assessment.
The interesting thing is my assessment.
On your trail?
No,
Or
I
is it
mean,
just you? Or you're
no,
saying across the?
We're talking Harbor Lane now.
Okay.
Now we're going to get to Harbor Trail, because I'm assessed, not because I'm on Harbor Trail, because I'm basically the farthest back from Harbor. I should be not a secondary, a tertiary, or some other, I don't know. I mean, anybody else who's on basically Harbor Lane, they are certainly much further south than I am. Timberlanes would be the only other one, and I can see Timberlane is south of me. So, but okay, my road, Harbor Trail, and this is where it becomes interesting. I guess this is why I'm being assessed, right, Phil? Because,
How do you get to Harbor Trail?
okay,
I
I'm
mean,
on trail.
that's the whole point, is the city will never be in, if you were in that area and it was a city road, the city would maintain it and they would improve it, and
Well,
they would
okay.
assess you then.
And my Harbor Trail Road is, and we've asked for years, you know, why doesn't the city support it? Part of it goes back to the old Watertown Township, Cross Lake, that kind of thing.
Holy
But-
buckets, you're
No,
going
no,
way
oh, yes.
back.
No, but it gets even better, because in 1980, it actually was the legislative line. Our old cabin, which is in basically Ideal, that was in Heitzman's
Oh,
jurisdiction.
gotcha.
And which is my driveway, separates, you know, our
Gotcha.
two properties. I was in Ludke, I think, was it, not Ludke, the one from Crosby.
Who knows?
But whatever. I mean, two entirely different legislative districts. But the county, pardon me, not the county, because the county says it's your problem, and you say it's the county's problem, and Ideal says it's not their problem. So basically, I'm Cross Lake, the other side of my driveway is Ideal.
I know.
And never will the twain meet.
I
But
know.
because of that, I'll say, this is a private drive, but it's still, I have to pay on
Phil,
Harbor Lane.
is she the only one being assessed on Harbor Trail?
There would be.
I say there's quite a few of you
No,
down
no,
there.
No, only two of us.
There's one more that has a secondary assessment, and then there's one that has
A primary.
a primary, yeah.
Okay.
There's,
So there's four.
Fontaines would be the other one,
Yep.
and my number is 14180584.
Yep.
Okay.
It just seems, given what we get, in fact, even now, the actual road, as it is completed, if you go, you will see it is about 10 feet short of my mailbox. It is not, the actual road does not actually go through the easement. I think it's only going up to the easement, and you should probably check on that, because I presume the city paid for it to go, again, up to its city line.
Phil, I think you'll dig into that, right?
I know it is so confusing and so ridiculous, and you just meet all of these different barriers.
I hear you.
And then the other thing is, I don't know where the request for the bike trail came from. Maybe Timberlane knows. Certainly didn't come in from anybody on I mean, basically, we're also one of those other arteries that becomes a major road. People use our road as a shortcut from Melinda Shores, Silver Peak, to avoid going on 16.
And I'm not refuting your fact
No,
whatsoever, Kathy, but year after year, we hear that. People use my road to get from point A to point B. I understand. It's tough to run the calculations and figure out who pays what.
But I think the key is, if it's not the case, why are we putting in a bike trail?
Well,
How
we
was-
had strong support
we
to
had-
put the
yes.
trail in, and it was.
From whom?
From people along there and from the community in general.
I think you got it from the resorts, particularly the people over on
It-
Boyd.
I would say Boyd and,
But see, Boyd's the one that proposed it when they were going to do their
and they're all
development.
interested in it, but I know from being involved in the construction there, even before we started, there was a lot of people using it, and from
Oh,
the
yeah.
time we got it built, it is really being used, and it is a safe mode. It is one of the,
But it doesn't
to
go
my
anyplace.
estimation, one of the best things the city's done.
No, but it doesn't go anyplace.
Not yet.
You got to make Ideal to do the rest of
They're
it.
coming.
They are planning
They're
to do
coming.
it.
When I asked them, they said no, they had no plan for it right now.
Well, unless they
Well,
hoodwinked us. but-
Maybe next year or 2027, they're planning.
Because right now, people are coming to my lot, because they come up to the end,
and there's no place to go.
Yep.
And then there's this little gravel road, so.
There is plans to continue it to Silver Sands and even down Silver Sands. Is it Silver Peak or Silver Sands?
Silver Peak.
Silver Peak back to 16.
So basically, again, we used to be 16A, that's what we're going to become again. Basically, a 16A bike trail off 16A, or off 16.
This is quite the history lesson for us this evening.
It's a great route. I see a lot of
It's-
people using it.
Well, I know a lot of people use it. In fact, a lot of people could get killed on it, especially now since they're going to cross it.
That's why we're trying to get them off the main artery. We're
Right.
trying. We're trying.
No, but it's becoming an artery,
I know.
and it goes no place. At least
I
your
know.
others go someplace. Since you went ahead and did it, even though, again, it originally started with Ideal, I would suggest you push Ideal.
They've come to the table. We've had conversations with
They've
them.
indicated
I
they
was-
would go. They're-
Go ahead, Sandy.
Well, I was actually at a council meeting where they agreed to the proposal to participate and to extend the trail. So I know they're on board.
Well, but this is where we started 10 years ago, but they were the ones who were going to push it for Boyd's, and we said we would do it. I mean, again, the history there is not good.
So
I
we
mean,
asked them to join with us, and they couldn't because they committed dollars to a project in Breezy Point, Bushman Road. But they said they could have the dollars as early as 26. So I understand you've seen it.
I was gonna
and this
say,
sounds
we-
like a dream. To me, they're planning to do it.
Kathy, is there anything else you'd like to address?
Well, I guess I really question, given what we have here and the fact that, I mean, the road doesn't even go all the way to the end of where why do I have this kind of assessment as a
I hear ya.
secondary?
I know.
I mean, it's.
We did
pretty
secondary
stupid.
assessments last year for Daggett Pine, and it was the same conversation. I get it.
But I bet they didn't have Harbor Trail, which was not supported, by either,
Well, we had Daggett
that's the
Pine,
other
which,
thing.
we had Daggett Pine, which goes all the way down to the lake, so there was
yeah, but it's
some,
all within Cross Lake.
correct.
We're trying to get two governmental units here to talk
So-
to each other, and there's not a good history.
I don't think the Harbor Trail, or sorry,
You see, again?
the Harbor Bike Trail specifically affects your assessment because that was all paid for by the Lakes Foundation. Just to be clear, you're not being assessed for the additional work of the expansion of the bike trails, as Lakes Foundation has pledged to the city that they would cover all the costs to any future trail connections.
Could you at least, since you're obviously not going to do anything with Harbor Trail, years ago, but it's got to be close to 15 now, there was a sign that was put up that said, private drive, no, I think it was no outlet, dead end. Is it possible to put something like that up?
You know
again
what,
on-
we'll send that to planning and zoning, or planning and zoning. We'll send that to the Public Works Commission, because I can hear the city clerk commenting over here that she thinks that was something in the past.
We did it in the past, it was there years
Okay.
ago, but I don't know. when.
We'll look at
It
it.
might help, but
We'll look at it and we'll send it to the Public Works Commission.
the other option is, and a number of us talk about it, is if either those of us in Cross Lake or the ones in Ideal would basically appeal to be annexed to the opposite jurisdiction.
Oh, we wouldn't want that.
No one does.
We like you here.
No, you like our taxes.
Hey,
It's true.
hey. Thanks, Kathy, I appreciate it. Is there anybody else on any offshoot roads or any roads I did not address that would like to come and petition to the city council? Second call, third call. No one else. All right, first we're gonna handle these three letters that we got first, that I read. Does the city council have any appetite to either reassess or assess the regular amounts? Is there any conversation on that? No? Robin?
Can I just have one comment, and that's regarding the Lakes Foundation?
Yeah.
While along with everyone else, I'm deeply grateful for all that they contribute to the city. But I just feel like if we were to reduce their assessment, it looks a little bit like quid pro quo, like.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's kind of,
Yeah.
I think it is an uncomfortable precedent that, like people who donate or contribute to the city, then they get special preferential treatment. I just think
Gotcha.
it's a bad precedent. And even though I'm terribly grateful, I hope our great relationship continues, but I just think it would set a really bad precedent.
Gotcha. Jamie? You don't? I don't personally. Bob?
I just have a question on the Lake Foundation
Yeah.
letter where they're saying the school, it's a school forest,
So that,
and it's on the map here, but it's not a school forest?
so we had looked at it this afternoon when I came in to get these. They said it's been designated by the DNR as a school forest, but it's not a separate parcel, if that makes sense. So I could see if the forest was a separate parcel, which would split it down the driveway on Swan, I could see maybe, since they are a nonprofit, I could maybe see not assessing that if it was a separate parcel deemed a forest by the DNR, but since it's one contiguous lot, I don't see where the city would not assess. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Okay. So the Swan Drive part that was done by the county, is that included in their assessment?
Phil?
No.
No. Robin?
Nope, no questions.
Okay. Is there anybody on Zoom before I take this vote that wants to speak? I should have asked that earlier. Kathy, do you have anything to say? Or Tom, do you have anything to say? Unmute yourself if you do. If not, you can stay quiet. Oh.
Can I talk?
Of course you can, but can you name an address and position, I guess?
Yeah. I'm Chairman of the Public Works Commission. The only thing I would say is, I'm just going to correct something. A couple times it was said that the Lakes Foundation paid for the trail on Harbor Lane, and that's incorrect. The city is paying for that. That's part of the bond issue. That's part of the project. So the Lake Foundation did not pay for the trail on Harbor Lane.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't we getting that money back from them or no? Then what do we do with the Lakes Foundation? Okay. Never
The
mind.
Lakes
Kathy, I
Foundation,
apologize. I lied to you. I lied to you.
That's my only comment. Otherwise, I think you guys have handled the assessment hearing very professionally, and I'm very happy with the way you've handled it.
Thank you. Okay, so we had a conversation, there's consensus. Is there a motion to assess these three parcels at the current assessment amount?
I move to assess these three parcels at the assessment amount.
There's a motion to approve, to assess.
I'll second that.
There's a second to assess at the stated original amount. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor of assessing the original amount to these three parcels signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. In regards to the conversation at Old Log Landing, does council have any thoughts on this? Robin?
Well, there's a number of them. If I can, Mayor, just jump to the detour teams. There's a lot of passion here, and I get it. That traffic was horrid during construction. And again, this was a really difficult conversation. And Tom, I know you're online. If you have anything additional or anybody else from the committee want to speak to that. It's a difficult topic, and I think, Phil, you did your research on the aging of the road, but again, a difficult topic. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sandy.
Well, I understand all of the conversation, but, I'm not personally, aware of the damage or what was done. And Phil, I can only go by what our engineer said, and that, there wasn't substantial additional damage. So
All we go back to is the ratings that we
Right.
saw before and after, and it's not surprising the change.
Right. So I mean, based on that, I don't really have
Okay.
anything to add.
Bob?
I have nothing more.
Jamie? I have nothing more either. I understand. I get it. That was before even you and I were on council, and if there was something in minutes or something voted on, I would totally understand doing that and honoring that. But sadly, since there's not I'm going to have to continue and go forward. Was there any other ones that were on there that maybe raised question to anybody that want to have conversation about? Kathy, I have a random question for you. Do you happen to have a sewing machine? This is so random. Would you hem some pants for me? I have a wedding coming up. No?
Okay.
Dang it. All right. Sounds good.
May I ask, is Kathy being assessed as a primary or secondary?
Secondary.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, is there a motion to, okay, actually, before I do that, where'd my note go? Is there anybody right now, before we probably pass the assessments, does anyone have any appeals they want to bring up and give to me before we tax or before we approve the assessment? Does anybody have any appeals going once? Come on up. If you could, just name and address.
John Kruzmark, 835 3rd Avenue, Plainview, Minnesota. So the question is,
Yeah.
so even if we do the appeal and it goes to the district court, can we back out in between?
Yes, between now and then you can back out.
All right, thank you.
You would initiate the action. The city won't initiate the action. You're reserving your right to say, I'm going to take the city to court. You would set that, you would initiate that whole thing.
So you would have to get a lawyer, you would have to
Okay.
file the paperwork, and you would have to have it served to the city.
Yep.
Okay, so this would just be an official notice to you guys?
This would
It's
be-
not,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but-
officially noticing you're reserving your right to take us to court.
Okay, appreciate it, thank you.
Anyone else who didn't do that, that's done.
thank you, you're welcome. Third call, does anyone have any other appeals they would like to give to the city? Seeing none, any further discussion from city council? Seeing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve the assessments?
Make a motion to approve.
Jamie approves, is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second by Bob. Any further discussion? Those in favor of approving the assessments regretfully signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. There's a second by Jamie. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned at 7:26.